We don't hold any indifference. We're just glad that there can be closure.
But first tonight at 6, moving on, after charges are dropped against the man who struck and killed a Madison woman, her church family says they are actually at peace. And good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Michelle Lee. Back in September of 2011, 33-year-old Jonathan Redhantz, a man with several OWIs on his record, was turning left from East Washington onto North Stoughton with his little girl in the car when he hit and killed 61-year-old Mary Campbell. Just 7 minutes earlier, Redhantz had taken a methadone dose. Prosecutors said driving under the influence of that narcotic led them to charge Redhantz with negligent vehicular homicide. But 3 years later, after several judges said no methadone evidence could be introduced, prosecutors dropped those charges.
The new at 6, News 3's Matthew Simon details why her church family says that decision is bringing them some closure. Matthew.
And Eric, her church family has been waiting for 3 years since that terrible day for some sense of closure. Her pastor says with the charges gone and now knowing more about the suspect they've always prayed for, he has some resolution that the story for him that began with meeting Mary Campbell at a very dark point in her life can move on.
She loved to sit right in the front. Now, a lot of people, they sit in the back, but Mary loved to come forward, and this was her favorite spot.
For a decade, the second seat on the second row is where Bethesda Christian Fellowship senior pastor Brian Peterson remembers always seeing Mary Campbell.
She was very quiet, withdrawn, but over the process of time, it's like she just blossomed.
Blossomed from an abuse survivor into a faithful parishioner, even though life had not always dealt her the easiest hand.
She had a little difficulty in walking, and I don't know if it was an impairment because of a stroke. She was hearing impaired.
Eventually, her church family was just family.
A family in the church would pick her up every Sunday.
Then that terrible day, it shattered this small congregation.
It was sobering because she was a part of our family, and I think it was, we were all shocked.
I know he's very sorry for what he did.
Jonathan Redhantz attorney Mark Eisenberg says street camera footage shows his client was not speeding and tried to stop. An accident in the end, he says, was just unavoidable.
And she walked kind of like her body was in front of her feet. And this lady that's sitting here thought that she had stumbled in front of him.
And with the judge siding with the defense, that methadone probably had not affected Redhantz's body, the pastor says the church can finally begin to move on.
We don't hold any indifference. We're just glad that there can be closure, I guess. And again, we do pray for the individual and their family.
Now, Redhantz's attorney says his client has spent the last 3 years under very tight legal restrictions while this whole process played out, taking care of his daughter as a single father. Like so many church members, this man, too, his lawyer says, is trying to put all of this behind him, but that is a very difficult task for everyone involved.
A difficult story indeed, Matthew. Thank you very much.